Are you? Hang on a second. Yeah, let me work on that for you.
A man walked into a police station on his own feet, calm, talking easy, even smiling like this was just another normal day. He thought it was about something small, maybe a simple issue, something he could clear in minutes and go back home. He sat across from a detective, relaxed, answering questions like it was a casual chat. What he did not see was the other side of the room, where officers already had video of a man getting shot in the middle of a quiet road. They had phone records. They had witnesses. They had cars. And with every word he gave them, piece by piece, he was slowly building the case against himself without even knowing it. It started early in the morning on October 21st, 2016, a quiet road near Normandy Park in Jacksonville. Around 7 a.m., a neighbor driving to work saw something lying in the middle of the street. He slowed down, looked closer, and realized it was a man. Not moving, not responding. Police were called right away. When officers arrived, they saw the body of a 34-year-old man, later identified as Desmond Bernard Jacobs. He was lying in the road near a Dodge Ram truck with a trailer parked close to a baseball field. The scene looked wrong. This was not an accident. There were yellow evidence markers placed around the body, the kind often used to mark shell casings. That told a clear story without words. This man had been shot. The area was quiet. No suspect. No weapon. Just a body and scattered pieces of evidence. At first glance, it looked like another case that could go cold. But this time, something was different. There was a nearby business with cameras running all night. Investigators pulled the footage. What they saw changed everything. At 2:35 a.m., a black Nissan Rogue drove onto Greek Road and stopped. It did not park like someone visiting. It just sat there, engine running, waiting. Minutes passed. Then Desmond appeared, walking on foot next to the car. The car slowly moved forward, like it was guiding him. Then it drove ahead, made a U-turn at the end of the road, and came back toward him. Desmond walked up to the driver's side door. That is when it happened. Flashes lit up from inside the car. Gunshots. Multiple. Fast. Close range. Desmond dropped right there in the road. The shooter stepped out. A heavy-set man who walked to the body, picked something up from the ground, went back to the car, and drove away. That alone could have been the end of it, but it was not. About 25 minutes later, another car arrived, a white two-door Honda Accord. The same heavy-set man stepped out again. He walked back to the body, picked up another item, paused like he needed to catch his breath, then got back in and left again. He came back to the scene of his own crime. Twice. The white Honda Accord was traced to a woman named Latoya Williams. When police spoke to her, she said her boyfriend had been driving her car that night. His name was Kevin Parker. That name started connecting everything. Kevin also owned a black Nissan Rogue, the same type seen in the video. Now, the cars matched. The person matched. But police still needed the story behind it. Why was Desmond on that road in the middle of the night? Two witnesses gave them the answer. Earlier that night, Desmond was with two people who wanted to buy drugs. They contacted a man they knew as Henry. They did not know his real name. They just knew he was the one to call. Henry showed up alone. The witnesses described him as a heavy-set man. That matched the figure in the video. When he arrived, the mood changed fast. This was not just a deal. This was personal. Desmond owed Henry money. The conversation turned tense. Words were exchanged. The pressure was clear. Then something risky happened. Desmond got into Henry's car. That was the last time anyone saw him alive. Police checked the phone number the witnesses used to contact Henry. The records pointed straight to one name, Kevin Parker. Now everything was lining up. The cars, the body, the witnesses, the phone records, the video, all pointing to one person who had no idea how much evidence was already stacked against him. Days passed. Detectives built their case quietly. Then, one simple move changed everything. A detective left a card at Kevin Parker's home. Just a request to call back. Nothing aggressive, nothing alarming. Kevin called. The detective asked him to come in and talk. No threats, no pressure. And Kevin agreed. On the morning of October 14th, Kevin Parker drove himself to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office on East Bay Street. No handcuffs, no escort, no lawyer. He walked in thinking this was about something small. He was wrong. Kevin sat down across from Detective Chapman, and nothing about the room felt dangerous at first. The detective stayed calm, polite, and friendly. He thanked Kevin for coming in, reminded him that he drove himself there, and made it clear that nobody forced him to show up. That mattered, because Kevin was not in handcuffs. He was not being dragged in. He had walked in on his own, thinking he was only there to clear up some small confusion. Kevin even said he was nervous because he did not really know what was going on, but he still talked. The detective started with basic things: his name, his nickname, KP, his address on Northern Street, his phone number, his carrier, T-Mobile, his work. Kevin explained that he was self-employed and ran a business called Heavy Duty KP, doing tree service, lawn care, construction, and odd jobs. It sounded like a normal life story, but the detective was not just making small talk. He was locking Kevin into details.
I'll just get some basic information from you. Okay. My name real quick. Kevin. It's Junior, right? And you got a nickname or anything? They call you any other names?
KP.
KP? Where do you live at?
335 2 Street. Right now, I'm self-employed. I got a business called Heavy Duty KP.
Then the questions moved to his body. Tattoos, school, reading, writing, drugs, medication, alcohol, and mental health. After that, the detective read him his rights. Kevin signed and kept talking. The door was still open. The mood was still easy, but now every answer could follow him into court. Then came the cars. Kevin said he had a Dodge Durango and a Mercury. The detective kept moving slowly and asked if he had ever owned a Nissan. Kevin said yes. It was a Nissan Rogue. He said he got it after prison and had it around 2015, maybe until early 2017, after an accident. That was a major answer, because the murder video showed a black Nissan Rogue on Greek Road. Kevin did not know the detective already knew that. Then the detective pulled out the map. Normandy Boulevard, Lindsay Road, the apartments, the baseball field near Normandy Park. Kevin knew all of it. He said he lived around there for years, from elementary school until after school. His mother still lived there, so he still went back often. Then the detective asked when he was last there. Kevin said yesterday. That one answer did not sound big in the room, but it was big. It showed Kevin still had a strong connection to the same area where Desmond Jacobs was found dead. The detective did not jump straight to murder. He made Kevin feel safe first. He said this was not about drugs. He even joked that Kevin could say he used drugs before walking in, and he still was not there for that. The point was simple. Make Kevin stop worrying about one thing, so he would keep talking about the real thing. Then the detective showed him Desmond's photo. Kevin admitted he knew him. At first, he played it lightly. He said Desmond used to live around the apartments. He knew him as D. He said Desmond was older, and they were more like associates than close friends. But the more he talked, the more the story opened up. Kevin said he had given Desmond rides before. He picked him up from hotels, motels, and different places. Sometimes Desmond needed to cash checks. Sometimes he needed to move around the city. Kevin said Desmond would call him Little Bro and ask for rides. That mattered because witnesses said Desmond got into the car of a man he owed money to before he died. Then the detective asked about money. Kevin admitted Desmond had owed him before, but tried to keep it small. He said it was never much, maybe $40 or $50, usually for rides and gas. He explained that driving from the west side to the south side and around town took time and money. He made it sound normal, like a small favor between people who knew each other. But detectives already had witnesses saying the debt was part of the problem.
So, obviously, he owed you money at times.
Yeah, Never a lot. $40, $50. I mean,
was it for drives?
for rides. Just you take it around.
It's an expensive ride.
Yeah, you got gas, man. You gotta go from I live on the west, you gotta go to the south side, take him here, there, around the world. Man.
$40 drive you to South Carolina.
Kevin also said he had not seen Desmond in about a year or a year and a half. The detective pushed that timeline back toward September or October 2016, right around the time Desmond was killed. Kevin said the last time he saw him was around Bay Meadows, when he gave him a ride to look for a check cashing place, then dropped him off near Edgewood. Again, Kevin thought he was explaining old contact. But to the police, he was confirming the relationship, the rides, the phone contact, and the money. The room stayed calm, but the trap was getting smaller. Kevin had now confirmed the Nissan Rogue, the Normandy area, the phone number, the rides, Desmond, the money, and the fact that Desmond had owed him before. The detective had not even shown the full hand yet. Then the tone shifted. The detective told him he had worked homicide before. He reminded Kevin that police work today could connect people through records, phones, vehicles, and movement. Kevin began to feel the change. The easy talk was not easy anymore. The detective asked if there was anything else Kevin needed to tell him. That was when Kevin finally caught on. He said it was probably in his best interest to talk to a lawyer, because this was not looking like what he thought it was. He said he did not want to be involved in something bigger. At that moment, the whole room changed. Kevin had walked in thinking this was about a car issue. Now he understood it was about Desmond Jacobs. But by then, the damage was done. Then detectives built the full map. They checked Kevin's cell phone records and tracked where his phone moved before, during, and after the shooting. A crime analyst made a detailed map of those movements. According to prosecutors, that map placed Kevin at the scene at the same time Desmond was killed. That was the final wall closing in. Kevin was charged with second-degree murder in the death of 34-year-old Desmond Jacobs. Police believed the reason was simple and ugly. Desmond owed money, not thousands, not even hundreds. According to what came out later, it was around $40 to $50. A small debt had turned into a killing. Kevin did not give a simple confession like, "I did it." That is important. The case did not depend on a clean confession. Instead, detectives got something more careful and more useful. They got him talking. He gave detectives his phone number, his carrier, and made it clear the phone was usually in his hands at night. He talked about the Nissan Rogue he used to own, placing himself behind the same type of car seen in the footage. He walked them through his connection to the Normandy area, the streets, the apartments, even the baseball field, right next to where the body was found. Then came the money. Maybe $40 or $50, as I mentioned before. That was the closest thing to a confession in the room. Not a full admission, but a long chain of answers that helped police connect motive, relationship, location, phone, and vehicle. When Kevin finally understood where the questions were going, he stopped. He said it was probably best to talk to a lawyer, because this was not turning out the way he thought. That moment showed he finally realized the interview was not about a traffic issue. It was about Desmond. Investigators believed the motive was money. According to witnesses, Desmond owed Kevin money, and Kevin came to collect. The witnesses knew the man as Henry, but the phone records linked that name to Kevin. The debt was not huge. Kevin himself spoke about Desmond owing small amounts before, around $40 or $50. But the argument was not only about the number. It was about control, anger, and someone feeling disrespected. Witnesses said Kevin confronted Desmond about the debt. Soon after that, Desmond got into the car. Later, the camera caught the final moments on Greek Road. Desmond walked to the driver's side. The shots came from inside. Then the driver left him on the road. At trial, prosecutors had a clear timeline. Desmond was alive earlier that night. He was with witnesses. Those witnesses said he owed money to Henry. They said Henry arrived alone, confronted Desmond, and Desmond got into his vehicle. Then came the video. The footage showed the Nissan Rogue on Greek Road. It showed Desmond walking near it. It showed the car returning toward him. It showed the shooting, It showed the driver get out and pick something up. It showed a second vehicle, the Honda Accord, returning later. That video gave the jury something powerful. They did not have to imagine the scene. They could watch the movements themselves. Prosecutors also used the phone evidence. Kevin's full cell phone records were reviewed, and a Jacksonville Sheriff's Office crime analyst built a map of his movements. According to prosecutors, the phone data placed Kevin at the scene at the exact time of the murder. Then they had Kevin's interview. His own words filled in missing blanks. He knew Desmond. He gave him rides. Desmond owed him money before. He had the Nissan Rogue. He knew the area. He had been around Normandy. He knew the baseball field. Each piece alone could be argued. Together, they told one story. Kevin Parker was convicted of second-degree murder. The judge sentenced him to 40 years in Florida State Prison. The same man who drove himself to the station, thinking he could explain things and leave, was now facing decades behind bars. Desmond Jacobs was 34 years old when he was found on Greek Road. According to the case details, the debt connected to the killing was only about $40 to $50. A small amount of money became a life taken, a family broken, and a prison sentence that stretches far into the future. Kevin walked into that police station free, but the evidence had already followed him inside. Do you think this case would have turned out the same if he never walked into that station? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.